Okay. Ooh, we are going live. Okay, 4 o'clock. Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard on our panel on pandemic gaming, and any visitors that come into the chat, welcome as well. Thank you for coming and attending. Next 45 minutes, we just want to talk about trends we're seeing in the video gaming industry due to the COVID-19 quarantine. Are the sales better? When we're talking about video game sales, we're talking about if our gaming habits have changed because of quarantine. Are we gaming more? Are we gaming less? And what have you been playing, more importantly? So first, we're going to introduce each other. My name is Joe Tokarcik. For those of you on the Video Game Networks, I'm known as Joey Joe. I've basically been gaming a little more since quarantine, especially since I've been working from home. It's a bit more free access to it. I'm doing things I don't usually do, like game before work and gaming during lunch break. I feel because of it, I've played a little more than normal. So we're gonna go on to Mary here.
Hi, Mary.
Okay.
Since the COVID started, I've been checking the shop channel on the Switch for deals, and there have been some pretty good ones out there recently. And I don't know if the pandemic had anything to do with it, but it worked out pretty well.
Cool. Okay, Sam.
I am Sam Smith, and since quarantine has started, I've started branching out to new game franchises that I wasn't really interested in before. Like, I've got Animal Crossing now, which is New Horizons is the first game in Animal Crossing I've ever had. I will be getting Hollow Knight soon, just because I'm curious of that. There are probably a couple others that I just can't think of right now, but that's about it.
Okay, Clarissa.
Hi, I'm Clarissa. Yes, my habits have changed a lot. Like, for one thing, I've played Guild Wars 2 every day for the last 3 months. And prior to that, I basically did not play more pegs. I've also been trying to buy a Switch since February or March, and I finally got one just a couple days ago. It's sitting in a box in the living room. And so, yeah, that's going to be a change.
Okay. Valerie?
Hi, I'm Valerie, and I've been playing more, but not a ton. I had almost stopped playing video games for a while just because of work and my kids needing me, and I've actually started streaming Dragon Age Inquisition again because it's kind of like a comfort game for me, and I've beaten it so many times and played it so many times, and it's nice to kind of already know what's happening. So I find that I'm wandering around a lot more and just kind of appreciating the scenery, the statues, the artwork, all of that kind of stuff. And I like the communal aspect of playing it with other people as I'm streaming. And I've also been playing Breath of the Wild, which is a similar kind of experience for me, where I'm, sometimes I'll do plot, but mostly I just climb mountains and look at the view and watch the sunset and wander around the land.
Okay. Tyler?
Hi all, I'm Tyler. My gaming habits have also changed. I am gaming a lot more. Like Sam, I picked up Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is my first ever Animal Crossing game. And both I and my spouse are deep into that now. Like, we completed the quest chain to develop your island in the first month of quarantine, which I don't think was the intention on the part of the designers, but it's what we did. The Switch was actually something we bought late last year, and it has been a boon. Like we've said, probably without the Switch, we'd be having a lot more issues and stress if we didn't have the Switch. But I've also noticed that while I'm not picking up genres I didn't know before, I've noticed everything falls into one of two categories: either soft, slow games where there are no stakes, or living death metal album covers with over-the-top violence that I can just disappear into for a period of time.
Cool. Okay, so since March, we've been under quarantine, and let's face it, we're stir crazy. We got stir crazy. We got bored. We had to find things to do to keep us occupied and not going nuts. So because of that, a lot of retail, particularly online, and those who did curbside pickup, there were sales going up, like arts and crafts your Michaels, your AC Moores have profited because people are buying stuff to do. Jigsaw puzzles were another thing I saw being sold a lot. For those of you go into Walmart pretty frequently like I do, the jigsaw puzzle shelf is always empty, except today. And of course, the video games. GameStop, a lot of them closed, but some of them saw profits in terms of console sales, especially. But a lot of the digital stores, your PlayStation Plus, your eShop and Nintendo, your Xbox Live Shop, lots of sales are going on there. I mean, you had nowhere to go to buy video games. Why not go there and download a digital copy? So because of that, a lot of the game companies, profits went up, sales are going up. People were trying things to keep themselves busy, and a lot of them were new gamers too, as we saw, or people were trying out a game that they've never tried before. Animal Crossing, a couple of you were trying that for the first time. And
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I have family members who picked up the Switch for party games initially,
Cool.
because we brought it for Christmas one year, and played Mario Party on it, and they went, "Oh,
Yeah.
This is a great thing for us to have." And they have since gotten Animal Crossing, and that's been how I've stayed in touch with a couple of my relatives. Is we both play Animal Crossing, and we'll, if there's a fishing tourney or a bug off or something, we'll get together for an hour and do that together. Or "Oh, hey, my island's got shooting stars. Do you want to come over?" And the same thing with a bunch of my friends who are talking about, I normally would never play something like this, but being able to, even digitally, have a friend over to do something is such a relief and a release, even though I can't literally have them over.
And I love hearing this. Now I can go to these naysayers for video games and say, video games, bringing families and friendships tighter now. And we need that in this day and age of Facebook. But, so video game sales went up pretty significantly. One of the systems I noticed was especially selling like mad during quarantine was the Switch. I don't know if you've noticed for those who go to Walmart, that was pretty much open consistently, or Target or Best Buy, no one could keep the Switch on the shelf.
When I say I've been trying to buy one since February and March, I've literally been trying to buy one. Mm-hmm. And the first time it wasn't, the Nintendo page would say it was in stock at Best Buy or Target, and I would click through, and it would be oh yeah, totally in stock, click here. And as soon as I clicked there, it would be what are you talking about? Oh, we don't have any. Those are out of stock. Go away.
No. I mean, all the game companies did well, but I think Nintendo especially. If I had to name one company that was pretty much the winner during quarantine, it had to be Nintendo. Between the Switch selling out and the Animal Crossing was pretty much the icing on the cake.
Yeah. Animal Crossing, I actually heard from friends who work in the video game industry. They were talking about how, like most products, Animal Crossing had an expected lifetime. This is how many units we think will move over the life cycle of the game. We think that will be about where we peak, and then everybody will move on to the next thing. Right. They blew through that number in 2 months.
I believe it.
There've been articles interviewing them where they've gone we spent all this time trying to translate all the puns from Japanese to try and make it work, and we were going, does anyone care? And now they're going, wow, I'm really glad we took all that extra time because the whole world is looking at them.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah.
Yeah, I haven't actually played. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I haven't actually played any of the console or portable DS Animal Crossing games, but I was playing Pocket Camp on my smartphone for a long time, and oh my gosh, I saw Italian penguins running the RV shop, and I was wait for that. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm home. And it was just so much fun, and I think a big thing why Animal Crossing is like that is because you can have your friends come visit, and it's kind of like getting together even if it's not in person.
It also isn't predicating its gameplay loop on stress, would be kind of the inside baseball way I would put it. A lot of video games, the fun is the adrenaline rush, a lot of platformers and stuff like that, or the challenge of it. And Animal Crossing isn't challenging you. Animal Crossing is saying, here's the stuff we've programmed for you to do. Go do it.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of it for me. I keep coming back to Animal Crossing because I know there will be no demand on me Like there will be the kind of low level demand of like a villager will come up and go, I really want a sea bass or whatever. But there's not this, like, I'm not going to have to play it and be like, okay, I need to be on point with my reflexes. I need to remember what all my stuff does. You know, it's shovel goes in ground, orange goes in face. And like, that's all I need to know.
Right. And I admit it, as you probably can tell here, I've done the Animal Crossing thing and enjoyed it. I decided to get creative with my house. I have one room that's a nightclub with a mirror floor. And then there was one that I did that was a spa with the ocean floor and wallpaper. And that wooden bathtub thingy they had. I thought it was kind of cool.
My wife and I have made a monthly event space where we've made a spot on our island that every month we gut and put something new up. That this October is gonna be the pumpkin patch, of course, because what else would it be? But yeah.
Something I've got on my
Mm-hmm.
something I've got on my island is a bunch of pattern spaces of different colors on the ground to make it look like a disco floor, and then I've got a stereo in the back, and then behind that a Godzilla statue, and so I call it Club Kaiju.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Nice. I would get a Club Kaiju.
I was almost tempted to take in growing some more bamboo and turn it into like almost, since we have no corn in Animal Crossing, like a corn stalk maze, like they do in Halloween. I think that would work. That's a nice tall plant.
I gotta say, oh, go ahead, Valerie.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that part of why I've been enjoying Guild Wars 2 so much is because it kind of makes me feel like I'm going new places. So you can change up your surroundings in Animal Crossing, and then in Guild Wars 2, it incentivizes within the game. Like you get points for going to certain scenic places, but also it's just nice to be running around and seeing new things and looking at new stuff. And I've been through 2 festival events, and there's going to be another one in the Halloween time of year, and it's nice because I'm missing out on all that stuff in real life.
Now, I was just talking about how a lot of the gaming industry has profited because of the quarantine and people trying to keep themselves from going stir crazy. Do you feel your game purchases have gone up during quarantine? Have you bought a console during quarantine, or like renewed a membership or sign up for membership like Xbox Live?
So I haven't bought a new console, but we did get Switch Online so that we could play Animal Crossing New Horizons with friends and family,
Nice.
which we were on the fence about. Like we looked at it and we went, this is totally worth it once we looked at it, but we were going like, I don't want to, because we had just come off of using Xbox 360 and
Right.
Xbox Live Gold was a little too much for what we were getting out of it, but the Switch Online is totally reasonable for what we're getting out of it. And especially the part where it has an app you can use as a chat,
Yes.
like an audio chat function. And so there is a common thing with all Animal Crossing, etc. users that we can talk on. So, that, and also my video game purchases have definitely gone up. I'm normally not I want the new shiny video game person where I want the new release as soon as it comes out, but I have been glued to the eShop looking for what's coming out next. And my wish list has been burgeoning to the point where I've had to make rules with myself of how often I'm allowed to buy a new Switch game.
Sure.
Or I know I will go into debt, just impulse buying.
I've gotten, my purchases have also gone way up. Things that I've bought just in the past few months: Fall Guys, Among Us, Animal Crossing was a while ago, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. On my Wii U back there, I bought Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire, and that's surprisingly really good.
Cool. Anyone else?
I know that my family has been perusing the kind of indie game sales that have gone up on Switch, and so we've definitely bought more indie games than I think we ever have before. One that my husband and my son were definitely enjoying was Unraveled 2, because it is a co-op game, and so that's another thing that we found is that even though we have a few competitive games like Smash and stuff like that, we've been playing a lot more co-op because it feels like a more kind of harmonious family experience. My husband and son, just before this panel, I had to kick them out of the living room because they were playing Kirby's Epic Yarn together. So, I
Oh
mean,
my God, that game is so damn cute.
it's
I
real
love-
cute. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
2 more
Right.
worlds they're trying to unlock. So, but that's like their. And my husband and I, when we game together, it's usually Diablo 3, which is a little more violent, but still a co-op game. You're still working
Yeah.
together and you know, trying to achieve your goals together.
Yeah, my spouse and I are also playing D3 together. We downloaded it. That was our most recent purchase. It was that or Hades, and Hades has a bug on the Switch right now, so we went with Diablo 3. It's the same thing I'm finding, because it's so over the top violent, because like everything explodes in blood and like legs fly across the screen and stuff. We actually find it enjoyable and cathartic instead of it like bumming us out, because it has gone so far. You know, Blizzard understood with that one, if you're gonna do it, just do it. And I think that was really key to why we're liking it so much. And like you, it's more harmonious to be like, let's play together. We really love that there's not a DPS tracker or anything like that in it, so you can't tell. There's no concrete way to say who's pulling, if you're pulling your weight or whatever. Because like we were freaking out about that. We're going like, are we actually both helping? And we both went, you know, who cares? Like.
No, I've definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
I bought the Switch. I bought Ring Fit Adventure. I haven't opened that up yet. I played the trial of Guild Wars 2, and then I actually bought the game. And then I spent actual real human money on, you know, ridiculous things that don't exist in the game, which I usually don't do. And then I guess last night I bought Tabletop Simulator so that we could play a board game with Tyler.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tabletop Simulator is getting a workout in my house too. We're big board gamers, which obviously you can't do right now.
Yeah, I think
so
there's
like,
been a lot more people doing that kind of thing, and I have not managed to get in on it, but I guess now we're starting.
yeah, we've also been playing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons on. We were in 2 campaigns before the pandemic, and both of them just ported to 2 different virtual tabletops.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I would say I think Tyler mentioned this too, that he's looking at the shop channel on the Switch. So I haven't bought a new console either, but I've just been like trolling the Switch shop thing for sales, and I found some really good ones. They had actually, I bought the Phoenix Wright trilogy. It was on sale for something like $15 or $20 for all 3 games. So I was checking. I've been playing that quite a bit. And there was this newer one called. It was put out by Ubisoft. It's called Child of Light. And
Yes.
what I really like about it is it's like totally different. Like it's a fresh game. Like it combines platforming and RPG elements in it. So you can explore some of the world and, you know, collect some of the items there. You're in a platforming setting. They have some puzzles. They have mazes, things like that. Then when you come across an enemy, then it turns into a turn-based battle, and it's just a great blend of it, and it's something different other than, you know, some of the more standard things, whether it's like fight games or things like that, or racing games. Like it's a fresh take on both, and I think that's something for everybody too.
Yeah. On the subject of indie games, one that's been getting a lot of play, it's to the side right now because of Diablo 3 and because we're trying to avoid finishing it, but Spiritfarer is an indie game, came out on various places, including the Switch. And it is basically, a friend described it as Stardew Valley meets Dead Like Me. It is a side view. It has some light platforming elements, but the concept of it is you are the Spiritfarer whose job is to help dying souls resolve their final bits of business before they pass on, and then helping them pass on through the door to the afterlife. And it's really soft and sweet, and really about like being there for each other and kind of comfort, you know, the power of comfort and of friendliness and of empathy and understanding, even for people who maybe aren't the best. But it's also about grief and about missing people and about loss, which are really kind of, not to bring it down, key parts of my 2020 experience. And so to have it say that's okay and that can be soft and sweet and does not have to be just paying wall to wall is really really affecting me with that, to the point where I don't want to felt the last spirit through the gate because I don't want the game to end.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Couple interesting things here. For one, you were talking indie games. I admit I've been perusing the indie section of the Switch shop, particularly because the sales have been phenomenal. And one little confession, I bought one of them little like dumb time management games, 3 games in one for like $330 something yesterday. I'm like, why not? You know? And it was fun. It was cooking games. One little interesting thing is when I pre-ordered Animal Crossing, like I got, which I pre-ordered that and the limited edition Switch with the Nooks on it, which we got that 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
Around the time I was about to pick up the game, they were about to shut down GameStop in Oakdale Mall due to COVID. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, can we get a pre-order now since you're going to shut down? They're like, no, we can't do it. Well, it's Nintendo's say. So I'm like, you know what? Give me my $10 back. And not only did they refund me my pre-order money, they also gave me a digital code to purchase it and put the rest of the funds on. So I got to download it digitally. One other experience I had, I don't know if any of you ever had any like similar experiences with GameStops, had things pre-ordered before quarantine and had to wait to get your money back, but I had money on Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I didn't get back till like July or August because they had shut down, and that game came out in early April. So anyone had any bad experiences with like GameStop or anything that happened prior to quarantine or like with pre-orders?
I was working from home already before quarantine started, so like most of my game purchases were online and or digital to begin with.
Yeah.
There is a
stores.
there's a GameStop. There was a GameStop near our house. We moved house during the pandemic, which let me tell you, that's fun. But
I believe it.
but we barely ever went there because the one time we went, they had like 10 Switch games or something like that, and we went, okay, we want these 2, cool, like, and just never went back.
Cool. Okay.
We had one issue where when we went to pick up Breath of the Wild, this was at the beginning of quarantine, and we, like, my husband said, okay, we're going to pick it up, and it was one of those where they had to bring it out to your car, and they just never showed up. And so we don't know what happened, but my husband went back the next day and was able to get it just fine, but we're still kind of like, were you okay in there? Hello? but at least they were still open, and they were able to get it to us the next day. But it was a momentary like, oh no, everything is weird.
So ever since quarantine, Lavi said your gaming has definitely picked up dramatically. How do you feel, the increase in gaming, has it done you good? How do you feel it served you well during quarantine?
It definitely kept me busy.
That's important. I felt not only does it keep me busy as a diversion from any other crap that was going on in the home, and just eliminates the boredom, I felt it was therapeutic too. One thing I started doing, I'm a team lead for a call center working from home, and I do get a lot of supervisor escalated calls, which I get the angry, fun customers. Sometimes when I have too many of those in a day and I'm like, are you serious? Get me off the phones before, I blow up or something like that. I'll wait till lunchtime and I'll put on Borderlands 3 and just try to shoot them out. And it does a world of wonders, honestly. Or something like Mortal Kombat even works very well too. Especially if you're a call center employee. Mortal Kombat is therapy.
And that brings me back to my point, over-the-top violence can be cathartic, but it needs to be over the top. Like, I could not imagine playing like Call of Duty or something like that right now.
No. Something like Borderlands.
Right. Again, where everyone has 50 gallons of high pressure blood in their body and stuff like that is really what I want. I don't want like, oh great, a war simulator. Awesome.
Borderlands is more like 50 gallons of blood and 2 billion guns all across Pandora. That's pretty much what Borderlands would be. So it works.
You were going to say, Clarissa? Sorry.
Oh, no. No, I was just gonna say I used to work in a call center, so I understand why you would have some pent-up rage you want to take out once in a while.
Yeah, from the agent's point of view, yeah, I've been there myself. It's worse with the team. It's at least worse with your team lead and you're doing like supervisor calls, but still it's good therapy. You know, during lunch, it's like eat your sandwich, then take a couple shots of the psycho here, a couple other bites. Yeah, but
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's been good for me. With Guild Wars 2, I've been mostly playing with some folks that I know from my writing group, and I've never done the headset game talk to other people while playing things. Mostly I don't want to hear from other people while I'm playing games, but with people I know, it's actually been really fun. I joined a guild there and met new people, and some of them even came to RoberCon. And also I usually don't watch streaming games, because I don't know, I'm just always kind of like, why? But I've been watching Valerie because it gives sort of the illusion of hanging out, and it's been really fun. My concern is that if I now get Animal Crossing or something like that, that I will then stop writing, because if I'm doing Guild Wars 2 and Animal Crossing, I think there goes my whole day. So that's why I didn't buy Animal Crossing with the Switch. So we'll see.
I've had, on the writing subject, I've definitely had to. Animal Crossing has been key for that, because there is a point in a day where I don't want to do it anymore. You know, I finish everything that I can do in that day, and I'm like, I'm just manufacturing stuff to do right now. Log out. And like, that's valuable, but I think I could not also have like a WoW guild or something like that, or just like you, I'd stop doing anything else. I'd wake up, day job, WoW, Animal Crossing, bed, repeat.
Yes.
like me, wake up, work from home, go to lunch, Borderlands, back to work, Pokemon Shield, catching shinies, a little bit of Animal Crossing. Bad.
I have had lots of luck with shiny hunting during quarantine. I have a shiny Volcarona and a shiny Scolipede.
Nice. Those you don't find
My
too
husband's
often.
had some good luck too, and he's been playing Go. And since they have changed some of the restrictions since quarantine started, he's been able to battle in more tournament type stuff, and he's been able to catch more stuff. And he and Team Rocket have been going at it pretty hard for a little while now, and that's been fun for him. So he's definitely been catching a lot of shinies and shiny. What's the where they're like shiny and also evil. I can't remember what that's called, but
Shadow Pokemon.
Shadow, yeah. So shiny shadow Pokemon is also exciting. He's been getting some of those. So for me, I've been, like I said earlier, mostly playing games that are more open world, and I think that's part of the quarantine experience too. It's like I can't really get outside, and so it's the way that I get outside.
Right. So as you noticed, like even though Animal Crossing's been pretty much the focus during the pandemic, there's been other games he's also been playing. We had to mention a Pokemon Sword and Shield a couple of times. Any other games you guys been playing during quarantine?
All Guys, a lot.
A lot of Crypt of the Necrodancer in my house. It's been a nice gameplay loop. Like, it's a really meditative experience.
I've been playing a lot of the Spyro trilogy, because I mostly had Nintendo systems growing up. So when I found out the Spyro trilogy was coming out on the Switch, I was like, I'm buying this. Like, I pre-ordered it. I was so excited to finally play it, and it's really good. I love just the kind of like antics, even, and just the little cutscenes. Like, they got like a floss dancing skeleton in there now. I've just been having so much fun with Spyro. I was so happy to finally be able to try it out.
Oh, cool. I got a friend who's like the biggest Spyro fan. He would have loved that, especially.
I have Spyro socks.
Nice.
I have a few Spyro socks.
I can learn. Well, okay, besides Animal Crossing, Pokemon Shield, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I'm absolutely enjoying. And Joe just mentioned Undertale. That's going to be my next focus, probably after the remake or whatnot. My daughter absolutely adores that game. What else have I been playing? Borderlands. I've been playing a bunch of Borderlands for a panel I had yesterday, and I'm going to continue on with that. I absolutely enjoyed it. Like I said, it's therapeutic. What else have I been playing? Smash Brothers. There's been another one I've been playing too. Right now, I got my own copy, so I'm trying to unlock everything, and I'm cursing at it.
I've also been playing a lot of Dead Cells during the pandemic. Again, that Crypt of the Necrodancer has mostly taken its spot right now, but it's had 2 huge updates that Dead Cells has during the pandemic, because Motion Twin has also all been sheltering in place, and they're like, might as well patch Dead Cells.
Right.
But yeah, it's a similar, like, again, the violence is so ludicrous, and it's got some skill involved, but not so much that it stresses me out to try and interact with it. And
Right.
there's that catharsis of pulling off kind of a complicated series of moves where the output is just huge amounts of 16-bit blood.
Yeah, other games in my house that have been coming up. My husband's been playing War for Cybertron. He's really been enjoying that. And
Ooh.
my son is a consummate Minecraft player, but has also been working his way through the Paper Mario games.
I played some Stardew Valley at the beginning of all this, and my plan was to sort of finish what I was working on and then get the Stardew Valley expanded mod, which completely changes the game. But then I got Guild Wars 2, so I haven't played Stardew Valley since then. And yet I still get to harvest. Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
No.
Game that I've actually found is called Spellbreak, and it's heavily Fortnite inspired because it is made by the same people. But it's a battle royale where your main weapon, so you're a mage and your main weapon are these gauntlets that you wear. So you can have 2 different types of gauntlets. You could have like a wind gauntlet and a fire gauntlet. So one thing you could do, you can make combos. So you could fire a tornado with the wind gauntlet and then use your fire gauntlet to turn it into a fire tornado to do more damage. It is pretty fun.
That sounds awesome, actually.
I've heard good things about that game. Yeah.
Okay. Clarissa, I know you do the MMOs. Anybody?
Now.
Yeah. Anybody been doing a lot of multiplayer during quarantine? World of Warcraft,
Mostly, like multiplayer specific games? No, sorry, I'll back out of this one.
Okay, that's cool. Anybody? I usually don't do multiplayer personally. I've been wanting to pick up Overwatch, honestly, but I'm probably going to do it on P4. One of my friends in England plays it, and I've heard all the bad press Overwatch gets, especially with the female players. So I'm like, I might as well play with people I know.
Yeah, it's one reason why I was hesitant to try Guild Wars 2 after my friend invited me, but she was like, it's actually a lot more chill than a lot of other MMOs. So I gave it a try, and it is actually a lot more chill. People are pretty helpful. And there's definitely been an influx in new players. It's one of those games where it's free to play at first, and then it's a single time payment. It's not a subscription, so I think that makes it a little bit more appealing. Because I know a lot of people are also on tight budgets right now.
Sure. Funniest thing was I have a coworker, not like a daughter's friend, but a coworker, who was actually trying to talk me into, ready for this, Fortnite. And I'm like, but he's like, y'all try Fortnite, Joe. It's great. I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that what teens usually play? But yeah, but no, there's some people around my age who are actually getting into that a little bit now. Believe it or not.
Yeah, I know some folks who have gone back to classic WoW now that it's out, and they've been having kind of a good time.
Yeah, I think for me it is like WoW was one I briefly considered. Definitely, I was like, man, this might be a good time to actually play WoW. I've got all this extra time that I need, that I need socialization during. But I think my thing was WoW. My experience of WoW was very negative when I played it briefly, and a lot of that was the player base. You know, what Clarissa is talking about was exactly the polar opposite of my experience in WoW, polar to her experience in Guild Wars 2. I mean, and so like, just I haven't been to multiplayer because I haven't found one where people are like, oh yeah, the community is mostly really chill. Like, for the most part, I've been hearing a lot of like, oh, the multiplayer is fun if you don't actually talk to anyone or look at your chat. So
that's the thing. Like my brief experiences with MMOs before was that like, if I was running around and I saw a whole bunch of players doing something, I would run the other direction. And in Guild Wars 2, I don't. I like run and join them. 95% of the people are nice and helpful. I'm not sure I really believed my friend Mary when she was trying to tell me that, but because you know how people are always like, no, my dog doesn't bite. Like, this game is not toxic. My dog doesn't bite. My child won't touch your valuable objects. Turns out she's telling the truth.
What's even funnier, I've never touched World of Warcraft. And the reason why I haven't was I was always afraid it was going to like take up my life. And I've heard of people that would call out work and lose their jobs because they'd be calling in consistently trying to level up. But then again, I play Skyrim, so I don't see how much more different that would be, honestly, except there's no social interaction with it.
It's the social part and it's the treadmill. Like, they've done a really good job keeping your churn rate constantly going in WoW, which I don't say entirely as a compliment, but I understand that was a gameplay goal of theirs, so congratulations.
Or you'd be like the boys in South Park who would like consistently kill wolves and level up to get that one guy player kills everybody. Well.
Yeah, I find that with certain types of RPGs and other games, I agonize a lot over choices. And one of the things that Mary said to convince me about Guild Wars 2 is that most of the choices you make are reversible, like in terms of your build and skill specializations and stuff. And you can change your mind and undo it. And I was like, okay, that is actually weirdly like a really large emotional, I don't know, it's a large pot of emotional energy for me that I don't have to worry about. So that's really nice.
You know, you just articulated something really well for me that I realized everything I'm playing does have in common across genres is you're never stuck in a choice in any of the games that I'm playing right now. Like Crypt of the Necrodancer and Dead Cells, you can be stuck for the run, but the run's only so long. Like in Dead Cells, it's rarely more than an hour, and Crypt of the Necrodancer, you're lucky if it's 10 minutes. But, you know, like Diablo 3 doesn't have that concept that like Diablo 2 did, where you can sink a bunch of points into something and go, oh, actually, this is totally useless after a certain point. So I think that low stakes is part of it for me, too, is just knowing that, like, I can't screw up so bad I can't fix it.
Yeah, no, I get the impression, Valerie, that the Dragon Age Inquisition is not like that, but you've played it so many times that, like, you kind of already know what you want to do.
That's exactly right. And I am not the kind of gamer who is shy about using walkthroughs if I feel compelled to do so. Because to me, it's more, at that point, it's more as if I'm doing an interactive story. And so even if someone has already kind of laid out the path, it's about the same as reading a book in that sense. You know, if someone is telling me, well, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, if I read a novel, it would happen how it happens too. So it's just a question of, you know, what kind of game do I feel like playing right now, and what choices are going to take me down that path. And you know, if I need to look them up to refresh my memory, I will. But that doesn't bother me. Like, I'm not here, since I have played it so many times, I'm not here for the surprise factor. I'm here for the, you know, the experience factor, I guess.
Yeah, I personally think, you know, like, games are supposed to be fun for the player. So that means I look something up or install a mod or whatever. Then, like, that's part of making it fun for me.
Same. I liberally use walkthroughs. I take it to the limit of what's fun for me to try and figure out on my own. But if at some point I'm like, I do not understand what I'm supposed to do, you know, like I'll look it up. There's no point in playing a game to not have fun.
Yeah.
Like
Usually the only time I will use a walkthrough is if there's like a 72-part puzzle, which you have to travel the whole map for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just annoying.
I think my first ever walkthrough was chocobo breeding in Final Fantasy VII, when I just broke down and went, okay, how do you get a gold chocobo? I am not trying to figure this out, especially because it was like the 1990s, and it's not like, you know, I was sitting here like I'm 16, I've got the patience of a teenager, and I'm going, you know what? Just tell me what I do.
Yeah, when I was a kid playing games, you had to call somebody that you knew. You had to hope somebody that you knew had played ahead of you in the game, because otherwise you weren't going to figure it out.
I remember playing through Final Fantasy. Yeah, me too. I called the Nintendo Power Hotline so much as a kid for Final Fantasy VI. My parents had to sit me down to have a talk about what a phone bill is.
Oh.
I just actually went into Nintendo Power Magazine when that was still a thing. I actually wrote into them before when I was playing. I played Kirby 64 as a kid, and there was one of the shards that I just could not figure out where it was because there were so many shards per level. And I was trying to collect them all, and I couldn't figure it out. So I wrote into Nintendo. They actually sent me a letter back. I was kind of surprised that they did.
Aw.
Oh, how cool. Still now in this day and age, I'll be out shopping at Best Buy or GameStop, and my boyfriend will be like, honey, we should get this strategy guide. I'm like, why? You have the greatest strategy guide ever. It's called the internet. But it's like, no, we need this for Animal Crossing. Like I said, I can look up I can look up a recipe on Pinterest how to make this pattern, seriously. So, okay. And have any of you watched like any video game streams? Like a lot of people are using that as a means of income now, Twitch, or have you watched any playthroughs through like Twitch or anybody playing?
There are definitely some, but I can't think of what they are right now. And if I do, I'll let you know.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
only
I started
watched
streaming.
Valerie.
Yeah, so I started streaming Inquisition just because I don't know. I had a reason and I can't remember what it was, but my husband and I had made a channel that we figured, yeah, we'll stream a couple things, we'll do something, we'll have fun, and then we started trying to like min-max our hardware and software, and we never got around to it. And then finally one day I was just like, forget it. I'm just gonna start doing it. Why the heck not? And
Sure.
so it's been a lot of fun. It's been fun to play the game again, and it's been fun to do it, just hanging out and chatting with other people while I do it. So
Yeah, I've been kind of trying to get some streaming off the ground. I've still got like a couple of people that come in and watch, but it's still work in progress. Especially when I do the Final Fantasy games. I got my one dear friend from one of my best friends from Idaho comes in who just loves to watch while she's doing her own thing. And then I get a couple people, so still work in progress.
yeah, I figure it's fun. I'm gonna play it anyway. So if other people feel like watching me play it, then cool, and then it's like we're hanging out together.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can make dumb jokes at you in the chat. So
Yeah, exactly. No, it's great.
My only complaint about that is I wish they had built-in streaming for the Switch. I mean, you have to buy the Elgato and plug that in, but it'd be nice to stream like Smash Brothers now and then, or even Pokemon.
Yeah.
So
My fond desire was to stream the Mass Effect trilogy, but maybe next year if it comes out as a remaster, as they keep taunting me.
Speaking of games where the choices are weirdly stressful but also kind of comforting, like, just darn it, BioWare.
Since quarantine, I've actually done less of making videos and doing YouTube streams. I'm not sure why. I've just lost motivation.
It happens.
I think, yeah, like I can't understand my motivation to do and not do some things right now just because everything is so weird, you know?
Sure. I get it. Okay.
Yeah. I started doing a live play game that we're actually playing tonight at 8, and that's been a lot of fun, but not a video game. It's Blades in the Dark, but that's another, it's kind of a communal thing, so that's been nice.
Likewise, I've not been streaming video games heavily, but I watch Critical Role pretty like every week, and that has only gotten more intense since they came back during the pandemic. That it's like, no, Friday is Critical Role night. I know I can count on this nice 4-hour block of comforting entertainment of watching these disaster people mess up their D&D campaign.
Is this the show that has like Reggie Willingham and Laura Bailey?
Travis Willingham.
Travis, Roger.
But yes, it's a bunch of voice actors playing Dungeons and Dragons together. And most famously, yeah, Travis Willingham, Laura Bailey, Sam Riegel, Matt Mercer.
Yeah. The reason why I'm thinking Roger, I'm almost thinking Reggie, and I'm thinking Infamous Second Son, who he voiced Reggie.
Right.
Yes.
Now that I think about it, I have been watching the YouTubers play through Dark Deception in preparation for Chapter 4 on Wednesday.
Ooh, okay. Cool. Wow. Okay. Wow. This was a nice little chat about video games. I know we're about to get up to our 60-second, I think, warning soon. But I just wanted to get your final thoughts on the pandemic gaming. And especially with the question in mind, do you think we've gotten a lot of new gamers since pandemic? Like I said, people trying to find ways to amuse themselves. Those who became the new gamers during the pandemic, do you think they're going to stick around with it? Or do you think once everything goes back to normal, if it does, it's going to be a long forgotten hobby? What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's going to vary from person to person. I think we have gotten some people who have tried out video games and gone, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to stick with this. But, you know, I think some will drop off. I think some will be sometimes players. I know I will probably play a lot fewer video games once I can have people over. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think it depends.
This isn't about like people like dropping out of gaming or anything, but companies have definitely stepped up their game in terms of making games and making updates, and I certainly hope that will continue through when quarantine ends, or if they'll just go back to like one game every 6 months.
Interesting. Mary?
I think some people are going to stick with it. I mean, you're probably going to have a lot, at least for a while, it's going to drop off because, hey, we can go outside again. And then, and, you know, everybody's going to be trying to go in all these places they haven't been able to. So it's probably going to drop off at first. But I think some will stick with it at least in a more casual way because, you know, a couple of people have already mentioned, oh, we've met new people being able to play online, and you know we have more connections now, so it might be one more thing where you can use to connect with your friends or spend more time with more people you've just met.
I'm gonna be in agreement with everybody here. I think it depends on the person. You know, a lot of people are gonna really love it. They're gonna keep it and maybe like use that as like a conversation point and everything, or even further, maybe create a Twitch channel. But at the same time, you're going to have those who are outside that demographic. I think they'll still stick with it, but probably decrease their gaming, especially when they got other things going on, and especially if they're going back to work. But I don't think it's going to hurt the video game industry. It's still going to keep going. It's still going to be a juggernaut in entertainment, and we're going to have some hardcore gamers and probably a couple more new hardcore gamers. And I like that.
And also on that subject, there's going to be gaps in other entertainment industries because they couldn't make new products.
True.
At points, whereas video games have kept going because they can do that from home. So.
True. And a lot of these other entertainment formats are kind of trying to think outside the box too. Like the movie industry, we get some movies that were supposed to come out this year but couldn't because of quarantine, so they're getting creative. Mulan. They're going to put down Disney Plus if you pay extra $30 or go in December and get it for free. But it's like a lot of movies had to hold off till next year. The Minions movie was supposed to get this year. They had to hold off till 21. I was hoping maybe that could have gotten released on Netflix. I'd pay extra to see that. But no, Tyler's right. A lot of these other entertainment industries, there's a lot of gaps, and like I said, a lot of them are thinking outside the box and trying to get creative. Okay, that was a really awesome panel talking about video game during quarantine. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
For moderating. Thanks.
I did. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
You're very
everyone.
welcome. Thank you, everyone. It was nice chatting with you, and I appreciate your contribution. And to the audience, thank you as well. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you all.
And we'll be in the gaming channel on the Discord, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, and there we go. Yeah, we have a gaming channel Discord. If you want to continue the chat, drop on by and we'll chat. Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully see you next year, RoberCon. I already have a topic in mind for a panel. We'll talk about that in Discord if you're really all that curious, but thank you.
Have a good one all.
you.
Bye.